just a little bit so you can all see. This will be the kind of stage area. You won't see the Picts if you stand there. You may wish to fly around. But don't worry, some of these people will be away from in front of you. I'm going to pick in some audience members very soon. Is it the time? The Romans came to this country in 79 AD, led by Julius Agricola. They landed in the south of England, breezed through England like a very warm knife does through butter. They built palaces, viaducts, aqueducts, bathhouses, and long straight roads leading all the way back to Rome. In Scotland, they built two structures of any significance. Both of these were great big walls to keep the savages out. This was with very good reason. Their first meeting with us was a little inflammatory, you might say. 5,000 brave Roman legionaries marched north to subdue Britain, as we were called at the time. If the Romans are going to need very fine, upstanding, dignified people who look like they could be in an army. So you, sir, obviously. And you, sir. Now, the Romans had swept everything before them in their path of destruction. They had big bronze shields which they moved as a unit to defend themselves against any threat. They had big, long, bronze spears which were excellent for throwing when people were charging at you. And they had short and very broad bronze swords which were excellent for close quarter stabbing. However, they also wore miniskirts and sandals. Combined with the fact that they were trying to build bathhouses in Scotland, the inhabitants of this country said, no, not here. 30,000 Picts mobilised to meet the Romans. This was more than a tenth of the population of the country. It would have been women, children, old men, and any animal which looked more like a human than a Pict did, which was most of them at this point, to be completely honest with you. The Picts were not an army, they were a gang. They wandered out of the forest chewing on human legs and feces and whatever else they could find. They took one look at the Romans, they dropped their feces and they said, uh-oh. Aren't they shiny and pointy? We are a gang. We are drunk. Poorly motivated, badly organised troublemakers who can't follow simple instructions at all. So we're going to use women to represent this. To this end, our entire army fights this battle completely naked. No? Would you at least paint yourselves completely blue? You'll have to use your imagination. Completely naked, but painted blue, meaning the Romans couldn't look down. That was good. Instead, they looked up, and looking up, they saw dark blue skin and bright orange hair. Bright orange! Bright orange! Which, first of all, hurts your archer's eyes if you look at it for too long, but more importantly, these men came from Rome. Well, fashion was born. You don't put dark blue and bright orange together! They clash! Savages, they cried! They know nothing of colour coordination. Plus, they think we are barbarians. To keep this going, we do what all barbarian armies do. We unleash a mighty war cry called the Hand and Roar. It's nothing fancy, simple, to the tune of hey! On 3. 1, 2, 3. Very good. Absolutely dreadful. If anybody kills either of these two over the course of the tour, there will be a £10 cash prize. Wait till we're in the graveyard. We have some witnesses. The Romans thought, barbarians, we are good at this. The commander shouted, form up! In Latin. What have you been teaching this boy? To die. You're guaranteed to die. You are guaranteed to die. Then behind you, they'll be just fine. They're looking at your pockets and wondering how much you are carrying. The cold, logical heart of the Roman soldier recognised that the entire front line was going to die and everybody else would be fine. And as we closed to striking distance, the front line of the Roman legion cried as one. Bugger this! Throw me their swords and cowered on their knees behind their shields! Cower! Cower! You've all cowered in terror behind a Roman shield before, yes? Very good coverage. At which point the men with the spears no longer had the shields and swords in front of them. Ah! They said, threw away their spears and grabbed for their shields! And now they'd all gone and stopped looking at us. Blue! Yes. Naked? No. Because if you paint yourself blue and wear blue pouches in your skin, you just look hairy. Inside of these pouches we have short, sharp weapons for the Roman armour. Drop the useless stick and pull out your daggers. And charging into the legion on its knees and not looking at you, you need to get in, under the armour, and go for the heart. But at the very last second, in this charge, break to the right of the one you've been staring at. Change direction, cave in the flank. You'll miss, that's fine. In, right, stab, go! Charging in, you break off right and stab her in the face. You're recording the battle for posterity. I'm sorry, you got too close, you're dead. You turn to complain, that's not fair. She wasn't fighting, but then she's broken right. In under your armour, you're on the ground bleeding, crying for your mother. You turn to tell him you're not his mother, you're the centurion. But then she's broken right, in under your armour, and you are on the ground bleeding. You, sir, to the far left of the flank, stand up completely unhurt. Surrounded by 30,000 naked blue people. As a Roman legionary, you're dressed in a miniskirt. Welcome to Pickland. You can be our girlfriend. Thank you for your help. You can all stand back down. There was one graveyard. This one stopped being used and was built on top of. The only graveyard serving the city for these 300 years was Greyfriars Kirkyard, the graveyard we're about to go to. At this time, there are 450 headstones standing in the kirkyard, but there have been no fewer than 500,000 official interments. The graveyard used to be a valley going down 20 feet. It's now a bit of a mountain, going up 12 feet from its old ground level. And this mountain is a mountain of decomposing corpses and coffins. You will never be more than 20 centimetres away from a dead body while we're in the kirkyard, and if it rains sometimes, they come up and say hello. While we're walking, just be very careful, there are two tribes at war in this city, the Neds and the Goths. The Neds will identify themselves by demanding a cigarette from you the moment they lay eyes on you. The Goths dress like me. It's nice to have a hero, but I am not an appropriate role model. You see, any of these people do not engage, do not make eye contact, and do not feed them. Get in trouble, I have a knife and a gun, but I'm not allowed to use either of them. Can't go that way, so we'll go this way. My apologies.